Democrat Jim Prokopiak beat Republican Candace Cabanas in the state House race in Bucks County, just north of Philadelphia. Now, while it's just 2 seats here, his victory cements the Democrats' hold on its razor-thin majority in the state House, which is a huge deal for 2 very important reasons. 1, it keeps MAGA Republicans from controlling the next election. And 2, it gives Democrats a preview at where they stand with American voters in Pennsylvania and beyond. Because Prokopiak didn't just win, he took it by a staggering 35-point margin. Pennsylvania State Representative-elect Jim Prokopiak is with us now. Sir, first of all, congratulations on your race, and thank you so much for joining us. This was an important race. The balance of power in Pennsylvania in the State House has been on the line now 4 times in a single year. That's quite a lot. What does it mean for your party to be holding this majority in the Pennsylvania State House?
Well, thank you for having me. And I think this race wasn't just about me. It was about the whole Democratic agenda that Speaker McClinton has been fighting for the last year, about pushing forth an agenda that fully funds education, protects women's reproductive rights, fights for a livable wage in Pennsylvania. It's a big deal for working families.
Well, let me ask you about those goals. You said one of the big fights in the State House right now is funding education. In addition to that, give me some of your top priorities and your top goals heading into office.
Well, one of the things we need to do, and it's been recognized by the Commonwealth Court here in Pennsylvania, is that the state has not done its job in fully funding education in the state. And that has led to local taxpayers having to foot the bill for property taxes in funding education. We need to do more so that our kids have the best chance at success in life.
One of the concerns that MAGA Republicans, that people have had about MAGA Republicans in Pennsylvania is that they have gotten increasingly extreme, not just with the candidates of who they put forward, but the ones that are actually in the party now. And they've been recently pushing to change election rules. Talk to us a little bit about that threat, that concern. How do you plan to push back against these efforts to protect election integrity, which is going to be a central issue going into 2024?
Oh, absolutely, especially here in Bucks County, which is a swing county, and Pennsylvania is a swing state. So the biggest thing we're doing, well, first of all, is making sure that people come out and vote in November. You know, I think that one of the reasons that why we had such a large victory was because people understood that voting integrity is on the line here, not just here in Pennsylvania, but all across the country. And so I think voters are well aware that we need to fight and come out and vote, or else someone may take away that right.
If you had to say a message to the broader Democratic Party, because obviously people are going to be looking at your race and other races across this country, these special races, as bellwether races to kind of gauge what's coming down the pipeline in 2024. What is your message to fellow Democrats, including President Biden, in regard to how they campaign, how they engage, how they win over specifically Pennsylvania voters, which is going to be one of the most important states in the 2024 race? What do you think he needs to prioritize?
Well, I can talk about what, we really focus on, which is the, really economic issues, talking about working class families and what the struggles they're facing right now and how we want to help them, how we're looking to really focus on making sure that they can pay their bills, have their kids get a good quality education, and then also talking about the rights that are on the line here. The simple fact is that while it may not be the most important issue in voters' minds, it's a very important issue in my region and district, is the continued protection of women's reproductive rights here in Pennsylvania. So I think an economic message combined that provides common sense solutions to problems that working families struggle with, as well as protecting their rights here in Pennsylvania, both reproductive rights and voting rights and those types of things, I think will be a winning issue in the suburbs.
Yeah, and it's going to be a very close race to watch on all these issues. Pennsylvania State Representative-elect Jim Prokopiak, sir, thank you so much for your time. I greatly appreciate it. We look forward to having you back on the show once you are in office and running.